Hi, welcome to Life Unraveled, where we unravel life's little mysteries. I'm Amanda, and today we're going to talk about getting ready to read. So, how do we read a book so that a child will listen? Well, this can be really hard. And how many times have I heard people say, well, my child will not sit on my lap and listen to a book. They get bored and they run off. So what we need to do is we need to build up their ability to sit and listen. And this can be done in very short bursts. First of all, you need a book that really attracts their attention. And sometimes, even though they're 4, you may be looking at, say, getting one of the baby books so that you can get to the end of the book quicker. And then once you've gone from that, you get to go to one that's a little bit longer. So you are slowly building up their stamina to actually stay and wait. So, once you've got them sitting there, what do you need to do? How can you make it really interesting for them to stay? Well, let me give you some examples. I love this book. This is Wombat Stew. And Wombat Stew is by Martha Vaughan, and she's done an incredible job with this. I love this story. Now, this is really a story for a 4 to 5-year-old. How do I make it interesting? Well, let's have a look. One day, on the banks of a billabong, a very clever dingo caught a wombat. Now, can you see how I'm talking and how I'm saying it? Is I change my voice up. I don't say, one day on the banks of a billabong, a very clever dingo caught a wombat. Now, what was wrong with that is I was too quick, I had a monotone voice, and I had no interest in it. Whereas if I say it like this, one day, so you can see how I'm getting a little bit more interest in my voice. One day on the banks of a billabong, a very clever dingo caught a wombat. So in that sentence, I've really changed my voice up. Platypus came ambling up the bank. Good day, Dingo, he said, snapping his bill. What is all that water for? I'm brewing up a gooey, chewy stew with that fat wombat, replied Dingo with a toothy grin. So you can see how when I've done this, my platypus and my dingo have very different voices. And using a different voice for the different characters really helps to keep the kids interested, because they hear that change in your voice, and it's sort of like when you see someone run past you quickly, you always have to have a look. And that peripheral vision you also have with your auditory. So as soon as you change up your voice, the kids go, oh, what was that? So these are the sorts of things that you can do to help your child with just sitting and listening. Now, telling a story. Kids need to learn to be able to tell stories, because as soon as they get to school, they're going to be asked to write one. So the more stories that they start telling you and performing, the better. So for instance, read a book, just any book that you've got, and then put the book away, and maybe after you've read it 4 or 5 times so they really know the story, while you're in the car, ask your child to tell you that story in their own words. And make sure that they get all the components of the story. So, what happened next? What was the problem? What was the solution? What is the next thing that happens? Those sequences are really important that the children can understand. So once they can really tell the story, and maybe then you have to read the book again and give it another go at trying, and backwards and forwards. But once they actually know about those complications that are happening and they've got all the sequences of events done, then what you can do is the child can start to read the book and turn the pages themselves. And once they've done that, then they can tell the story in a performance, for instance, using puppetry. Puppets are a great way for the children to tell their story.
We used to have a puppet theatre, as you can see here, and the kids used to have a fantastic time with them. The kids would make up their own puppets to tell their own stories. They used to love the Lion King, so what would happen was they make all their own puppets for the Lion King. They made Simba and Nala and all of the different characters, and they were able to do their little puppet theatre for everyone who came over. Even if they came over for a cup of tea, everyone got a puppet show.
And this was great imagination for them. It gave them a lot of things to do, and it took a lot of time too. So instead of them sitting and using an iPad or watching TV, they were actually creating and learning and really understanding and manipulating what happens in a story. And the more that they do it, which is that repetition, the better they get at it and the more successful that they'll be. And these are the things that will help them at school. Them playing around and creating their stories in puppetry really is the thing that's going to help them when they go to school. So there are the three aspects that we've looked at today. There's a whole heap of more information in our Learning to Read course. So it might be worthwhile you having a quick look at that. But these three aspects are very important for children when they're 4 to 5 to be able to learn to read. Thanks for listening. Now we've got some more. We're going to do maths next week. So get ready to have a whole heap of new information for your maths. Trial this out this week. Try getting your child to listen to more books. Read at least 3 books a day. One that they know, one that they don't know, and one that they love. So there are the 3 types of books that you should read every night. And then if you had done that from birth to 3, you would have read 3,000 books. And Mem Fox says your child needs to read 3,000 books before they're able to read. So you can easily do that in 3 years. Now, if you haven't been reading lots of books to your kids, don't fear. You will find that very quickly you'll get up to your 3,000. Kids love books and they love hearing the same book again and again. And make sure that you let them do that because they learn so much more each time you read the book to them. Catch you next week. Bye.
Thanks for watching Ready to Read Part 2. Look forward to seeing you next week. We're doing maths. Catch you later. Bye. This video was produced by Imagination Pty Ltd for Life Unravelled. All advice and information given during this course is designed for general use only. If you have any concerns for your child, please seek professional advice as soon as possible. For terms and conditions, please see